So I have cut my my wool, and I'm going to pull it all the way through in order to finish and secure, and that's all you have to do to finish and secure. Then what I'm going to do to save myself a little time, I'm going to go through the stitch heads and I'm just going to pull the wool through like so. So from front to back, and then when you work round it, it should hold it a little bit more securely. You can sew these in after, but sometimes this is just a quicker way to work, and then just, you know, give it a bit of a tug. So there we go. I always weave it in for a little bit of structure, but sometimes you just want it out of the way. So I'm picking up a darker colour, and I'm going to add this to the corner. I'm going to add it to a corner that doesn't have a tail, and I'm going to add it into the corner. So what I do is I take my hook. Now this is a little bit complex, but I'm sure that you'll be able to do this. I use my anchoring, so I take my thumb and I push it against, so it's squeezed against my make and my fingers. I pull through like so, and then I pull through again, a little bit like a chain stitch. So don't let go at this point, and then the next thing you're going to do is you're just going to chain 2. So we've done chains already. Now you can knot it on if you want. Now if you really struggle with that, if you want to knot it in place, you can. There's no wrong or right. That's just an easier way to not have any bumps, because it doesn't create a big knot. Then what I do is I move it around so it sits behind my work there, just so it's out of the way, and then I can then work on my stitches. So we're going to do a half treble. We're going to go through into our corner space, because we're going to create a closed granny square. So that's our first part of our corner there. So our chain 2 acts as our half treble, and then we're going to create another 2 half trebles. So yarn over, go through the chain space, pull back through, you have 3 loops, and go all the way through the 3 loops like so, and then repeat. So yarn over, go through that chain space, and then all the way through the loops. Right, so where do we start? What do we do now? So I'm going to take each stitch into the stitch head above. So first of all, let's look at what we have. We have 3 stitches here. We know we do, because we created 3 trebles in our cluster. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then we have 1 here. So there's 4 stitches here and the same here, and then we can work into our bits here. Okay, but the easiest way to do it is to find those stitches, and as we said before, the stitch head lies to the, if you're working right-handed, lies to the right of the stitch. So if I pull through there, that's a stitch head there. So right, yarn over, push through that stitch head, okay, so yarn over and then go through the loop that is on the right side of your stitch if you're right-handed. Obviously it'll be the reverse if you're left, and then you go through the next stitch head, and then the next stitch head. So we know we've done 3 now, so we just need to do 1 through the chain space, and then we need to work through the right hand side of that stitch again. So we know we've done 3 stitches that live in the cluster, and then 1 in the chain space, and then 3 in this cluster. Now the reason why I always do 2 in the corner is because when you're doing granny square clusters, because you have the chain space, it's like it spreads the stitches out a little bit so it doesn't ruffle up as much. But when you're doing flats or closed granny squares like this, then it's much easier. It's better to do 2 in the corner, because it just kind of pulls everything and keeps it flat basically. So I've done 2 half trebles into the corner, chain 2, and do the same again. Now you can use this method, especially working in the round, for creating your borders as well. You can keep your stitches as simple or as complex as you want. So now we're working onto the next side. So it's entirely up to you. Personally, I think keep the stitches smaller, so double crochet is probably better, or the half treble as a halfway house. So I've done 1, 2, 3, so that's 4. Once you've done this section, so we've come to the starting chain, which is a bit messy. So I'm going to go into the top of it as best I can, because we've got a slip stitch sitting in there, and then sorry, let me just move my hand so I'll not keep realigning my wool. So I've got 3 stitches now into there, 1 into there, yarn over, stitch head, yarn over, pull through, go 3, and then we're back into the corner space. We've got 3 that live above those posts, and then it's 2 HTR or half trebles, chain, 2, 2 half trebles. What you may notice I am actually doing, and it's not until I start looking at how I work that I realise that there's different little things I do with my hands that aren't necessarily. So you'll probably notice that how I use this finger to pull things across or just to secure it every now and then, and the same with these fingers here, like I'll kind of mirror that and then kind of go, oh. So if you watch, you see straight away I do that to hold the wool in place, and then I can push through and then let go. So it just helps keep things in place when they keep moving around. So in some ways it's another form of anchoring, because I'm kind of locking it down with my finger to allow my hook to be used, and the anchoring stops everything moving around. But it's much easier to anchor when you've got something to hold on like this, but it's still just as vital when you're doing your foundations as well. So we've got 3 there, we can go into there and then work your way around. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause it here. I'm going to try and do the whole round, and then we'll meet back at the start. So I've gone all the way around, and you can see how that closed granny square works. It looks great when you're doing ombre colour, and again you finish the same way. So remembering that we did 2 chains, go into the front of that loop, and then you can follow that. Now as it happens, I've gone through both of them without even thinking about it. So that's a winner today. Cut your wool with a good tail so that you can stitch back through later. So ideally I would say try and weave in as you go, but you know, we all get carried away and it's not necessarily the thing that we want to do the most. So let's just have a little bit of a task getting that done, because let's, what's the word? I can't think of the word. My brain's gone dead. Do as I say, not as I do. That's the word, isn't it? I think that's a sentence. So I'm just kind of there is a better way to do it than this, but because we haven't got the same colour underneath, I can't do my normal zigzaggy diagonal pull. So I'm just doing it this way. So right. So the next thing we want to do is work on re-establishing our granny square. So 1 solid row with 1 open row. So that'll be the next video, and we'll see you shortly.